Hey there, I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer, and I'm a painter, a printmaker, and a collage artist living outside of Boston. And this week I want to talk about scrap packs. So I make a ton of collage paper. Sometimes I make it on purpose, sometimes it's an accidental part of the process. I also use a lot of collage paper, but when I have too much, that's when I make scrap packs. So I like to put my scrap packs up for sale. It's a great way for me to clean out my stash so that I make room for more. Otherwise, you just really get like inundated with too much paper. But if, let's say, you don't want to sell your stuff or you don't make it kind of the volume I do, I think one of the values of making scrap packs or just even having a scrap pack to use is that it really sort of limits the palette that you're working with. And it's a great way to take artwork with you. It's a great way to take stuff and reduce sort of the amount of stuff you're looking at so you have limited choices that can really amp up your creativity. It's nice to be sort of forced to work with unfamiliar materials sometimes. You should try it. So the system that I have in my art studio is, let's say, organized chaos, but I do know where everything is. And one of the things I always have is a bin that's filled with the sort of papers that I'm working with in the moment. I also have an extensive system of how I store all of my other papers. And I do have a video all about that system in my art journaling class on my website at balzerdesigns.com. But when the bin gets too full, then I know that it's time for me to make scrap packs. And scrap packs are these things I sell on my website. They always have at least 30 papers, and they're just all the different collage papers that I make and I use in my work for you to take home. Now, the way that I do it is I sort of lay them all out on a table and I count them out, and I try to make sure, as always, like I said, that there are more than 30 pieces in every pack, that they have a nice variety of sort of weights and sizes and colors and all that kind of stuff. I stuff them into one of these clear cello bags and then list them on my website. Okay, so now let's talk about what you can do to make your own scrap packs for your own art practice, okay? So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a formula that you can use. It's not exactly the formula that I use for the scrap packs that I sell, but it's a great one to use for a kit that you're going to use. You want to look at the different types of paper that you use, okay? And you want to have at least two of the major types of paper you use. So it might be like deli paper, tissue paper, book pages, sulfite paper, whatever it is that you like to use in your art practice. So you want to have at least two of those, any size. Then when you're sorting, you want to have a mixture of warm and cool colors, right? Because you don't want to have everything be warm or everything be cool unless that's your style. And then I also like to have a range of values. So some lights and some darks. So this is what a kit looks like that I put together for myself. So I've got some just plain book pages, different sizes of fonts and different weights of paper. I've got some deli paper and other sort of thin things I would put in the thin paper category. And something I didn't mention, but I think is also important, is to mix up like having sort of intense patterning, intense patterning with things that are more plain and more basic. So it's not all very, very dominant, but you can see like the range of values. This is very dark. This is lighter. This is kind of mid-tone, so that you have a lot of different things to work with here. Then I have kind of sort of mid-range weight papers. This is the both copy paper, so we go from like a very stark black and white, again, like intense pattern versus subtle pattern. This is also copy paper, nice range of colors here, you can see that. Then these are old architectural plans, and I love to use these. These are a lot of the papers that are our clean-off papers for me. And what I really like about them the most is, besides the fact that you can see all the brush strokes, which is really cool. I know some people will call this piece of paper ugly, but I think it has a lot in it. It also is a nice neutral. You can see how like you could use this and the red paper would really be the star, or the X would stand out a ton, or the O's would kind of dance across it, or this piece of paper would really be a star. Like, you need these kind of basic papers in your stash to really make things sing. Then we get into the slightly heavier papers. So I have 3 of them here.
And some of the things that I like about them, again, are like, you would think like, oh, that's just a piece of white paper, but it's not. It's an interesting white paper, and it has texture. And, you know, I think, again, you need those light things to really make things stand out. This is a beautiful pattern. It's sort of more in the midtones. And then this is very dark. And I don't think most of us have enough dark things, because in order to make, like, let's say something like this really, really shine, you want to have it against something that gives it that chance to stand out, you know, gives it that moment to be the thing that's so, you know, bright and delicious. Because, you know, let's put together a really dark kind of background here, you know, and then you can take even like the tiniest piece of something bright. I mean, look, we're going to make a collage in about 30 seconds just because we pulled together a palette in an intelligent way. So here is my like basic base, and ta-da, here is my beautiful collage. Now I can, you know, zhuzh it up a little bit with, you know, a couple more little bits and pieces, but you can see that the advantage of making a kit or buying a kit or whatever is that you really like make instant art, right? So easy, so fast, and you have, you know, a little abstract sketch there, which I think is so cool.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you will like this video. Subscribe to my channel. You can check out the scrap packs at juliebalzer.com and my online shop. You can check out all of my online classes and my monthly membership at balzerdesigns.com.